Shut up and sit down.
Well, welcome back, man. Welcome back, everybody, to the Midnight Show.
Good to be back.
I'm Dan Connors.
And I'm Bayless Tunnicliffe.
So this showing we saw Deadpool 2, and same as Rampage, we saw it like, too late, and we're recording this way later than we saw it, but we're gonna get on that.
I mean, we weren't that late on actually seeing it, were we?
No, we saw it opening night, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not true, but...
So we're recording this much later.
It
was like...
No, well, we saw it Thursday, it's Tuesday.
Okay, so it's been 5 days.
Yeah, which isn't too bad. So you saw the first one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we both seen the first one. Not to get into like too review of the first one, but did you like it?
Yeah, I love the first one.
Yeah.
The first one was hilarious. And I feel like definitely, I think everyone was really satisfied with the first one.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, it's a Deadpool movie.
Definitely.
Of course, everyone's going to be excited for it. But then it was like really good.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I remember I was like, you know, just the hilarity of like the boldness of how they even did the opening scene, you know, with the credits and all that, right? I think that's like actually hilarious, you know, like starring some like overpaid actor or something like that. You know, just like the self-firing thing.
It was very self-aware.
Yeah, yeah.
In all of its humor.
Yeah. And starting off, you know, talking about the opening scene of Deadpool 2, I particularly liked in this one the director was, you know, the one directing it was actually the guy who killed John Wick's dog.
Was that the director? Or was that producers? I thought it was producers.
Oh, it might have been producers, yeah.
I don't remember it.
It was funny.
These credits, opening credits, I thought were a little worse than the first one. I mean...
Maybe it's just because you've already seen the
gimmick. You can't really say that because it's like, how can they really be worse? Like, it's not really like a joke. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It did... I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I think it might have been that way because the first one, and not to get too much
again so out of nowhere
into a review of the first one,
yeah.
But like I really liked the way that it was so seamless, the first one, where it's like, you know, you're done with the opening credit scene, and then all of a sudden it's just Deadpool sitting on the
on the highway thing.
Yeah. Wasn't that how that worked?
Yeah, it like panned to him or something. Oh, or was it? No, I think it was the other way. I think it was sitting on him.
Might have been something different. I remember the first time I never saw the opening credits.
Oh yeah, no, it was the original fight scene on the highway. So it was him on the highway. He jumped down and then fought the guys in the car, and then halfway through it like slows down and starts doing the credits. I think that's how it was.
Possibly.
It's been a little bit since I've seen it. I've seen the first one twice, but it's been a while since both of them.
Yeah.
Well, so this one opened with him on the gasoline things, the barrels.
Yeah.
And he's like throws the cigarette up, and he's the first shot is the Logan from the end of Logan, where he's like got the stake through him and it's like spinning, and then he's like the joke was you died in your movie, so I get to die in mine or something like that. Like,
he's like well, you know, I'm gonna one up you here.
And so he like completely blows everything up. That part was cool. I mean, it was kind of just the same thing.
Fourth Wall-E.
Yeah, in a way.
You know, it's just like
about
classic
Logan.
Deadpool that we've seen before.
Yeah, and I mean that was cool.
And then, you know, at that point, I was particularly nervous because I was like, you know, they got the opening credits. Well, no, that was later, far later. But like, you know, it's like, okay, you're kind of getting into this in the first few bits. We're kind of a little stale because it was like same Deadpool that you saw in Deadpool 1. I mean, that was funny, but like, it's kind of like, okay, I kind of want to see a little bit more dynamism out of the geniuses that came up.
Well, and we certainly saw a different Deadpool in this one.
Definitely.
This one, I mean, we'll get into it, but this one was a way different feel of a character, which I think is pretty apparent to even people that aren't really movie buffs.
Yeah.
You know, you can just kind of tell.
You can tell that.
I mean, from the first part, it's like, what was it? Was it you first see her die, and then it goes to because it was the 6 weeks later. No. It was, he blows himself up with the canisters, and then it says 6 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And then he's fighting bad guys around the world, which was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I just don't really like it when movies do that, when it's like, here's something happening now, but to know the full story, you need to go back 6 weeks. And
Yeah.
it's like I just don't really like when movies do that.
Yeah.
It takes me out of it.
I can't remember why. I think that there's like proven knowledge that there's something cool about it. Like people like it, but I agree. It kind of is a little distracting.
Well, I think it's because it adds a mystery of like, you get the initial thing, and then it's like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens, and then they kind of lead you on. It's like a cliffhanger for like TV, but it's in a movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, here's a cliffhanger. You can't wait to see. He just blew himself up. I can't wait to see what he does. But then it's like 6 weeks earlier, so now you're like waiting until it catches up.
Didn't they do that in the first one too? Where at some point that he's like, I'm in a garbage like truck and without a hand, and this is how I got here, and then he goes back.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's very similar.
Which I only read a couple of the comics like as a kid, so I'm not totally sure, but
I don't remember.
I'm probably sure that's just something about the character where he's kind of like, here's this, and then but now I got to tell you the whole story. So I mean, it's
maybe.
probably along with character.
Hopefully not,
but
because you know,
I still I don't really like when movies do that, but it was still fine. It was cool seeing him go around and like fight.
I really like the Chinese one where the guy is just speaking random. I can't remember what was funny about it, but he was basically speaking to him as though I don't speak Chinese, but this is he speaks like he says something. This is how we say something in Lo Biblioteca or something like that.
Oh yeah. He said I took 8th grade Spanish, and he's like, and this is how we say welcome or something in my country, and then he says like, where's the library or something.
Donde?
Yeah.
Donde es biblioteca?
Yeah, that would probably go. And he starts collecting the hands like with his sword as he's going through. That whole fight sequence, which is cool too, because you can just see how much budget they had for this movie compared to the first one.
Yeah.
It's like those first scenes are just like the whole budget of the first movie. You know, it's pretty crazy, especially that I think it was Taiwan or something, or Hong Kong. I think it was Hong Kong. Is Hong Kong in Taiwan? Hong Kong is China.
Hong Kong is China.
Okay. Yeah, but doesn't someone else own it? I thought someone else owned Hong Kong.
I think that there's a thing with Taiwan where Taiwan thinks that they own it, but they really don't. Oh, no. It's that Hong Kong was owned by Britain for the longest time. And then...
I think China has it now, though.
Yeah, they have it now.
That's so weird. It's like they own one little city. I mean, it's a big city, but like little portion of China. We could be totally wrong.
Yeah, we could be totally ignorant about the world events. You know, we are American after all.
Yeah, that part was really cool, though. Because, like, and when he dives behind the counter and the bartender girl's back there, he's like, I know this isn't the right time, but get me a vodka tonic or something like that. Or whatever it was.
Yeah, he orders a drink.
Yeah, he orders it. And then she's just, like, freaking out because they just shot him. Oh, yeah, because that's what it was. They all pull out guns and shoot at him. And he just kind of, like, looks like he's getting shot, and then he just kind of flips over the table, like totally fine, because it doesn't actually harm him. So then he's fighting people all around the world. One guy gets away, and he runs home because he's late with his anniversary with Vanessa. Which, I mean, it's kind of just the same thing with her as the first one. Yeah. It's just kind of a
very
girlfriend
typical
sitting there. I mean, they brought you right back into where they left off.
Which I like.
Is it? Yeah, it's like a relationship, and they're there, and they're kind of cheeky, and
you know, it's the same. They left it, which I liked. You know, it's like not a whole lot's changed.
Yeah.
Since
I think it actually says. Yeah, it says after successfully working as the mercenary Deadpool for 2 years.
Wow.
Wade Wilson fails to kill one of his targets on his anniversary with his girlfriend Vanessa. So timeline-wise, it's been 2 years.
Okay.
Since she was abducted by Francis from the first one, which it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah, it really does not. This could have happened like a month after.
Which that might have been a problem because they said 6 weeks earlier, because it felt like that portion of the 6 weeks was like directly after Francis.
Yeah,
and so maybe that 6 week period kind of screwed people up, where it was like, oh, this happened right after the first one, so then the stuff with Vanessa is only 6 weeks after. Or something, I don't know. Yeah. The timeline was a little weird. It felt like it was way sooner than 2 years.
That's cool. I don't really care about the timeline of it. You know, they can say 2 years, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's fun.
So they have, like, a little fun chat. I don't really remember most of the jokes from that. But they basically decide they want to have kids together. But then someone breaks in and tries to kill him. Yeah. Which, that was cool, too. Like, he grabbed the knife set and fought off all of them. Yeah. But Vanessa gets shot at the last second. Yeah. Which was, I mean, it was cool slow-mo.
I mean, and the biggest thing is you see him throw that last cheese knife
Yeah, and it hits the gun.
No, it doesn't. It fails to hit the gun, and it hits on the side of the door frame.
I thought I saw it hit the gun, and the gun went towards her.
Oh, it might have. It might have been aimed at him, and he hit it. But I honestly thought he just missed.
Because it was in the door frame, like when you see it before the 6-week thing. Like you see it's in the door frame before he blows himself up at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So we know it lands there, but I thought I saw it hit the gun.
It obviously could have, and that would make it even worse. So I imagine that could have been definitely something. If it was that way,
he does go on to like blame himself. Like he's like, it's my fault. So I mean, I kind of took that as just he failed the shot, but maybe it also is he hit the gun and it hit her. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it could have been either way. I honestly thought it just missed, but either way, he felt responsible, and likely so. I mean, I think if either of us were in that same situation, we'd feel the exact same.
Either
thing.
way, she dies.
I mean, I could have done that. I could have made the shot, but you know,
with the butter spreader or whatever it was.
It was the cheese spreader.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I thank God I didn't have to use the cheese spreader.
What do you need to spread cheese for?
Unlike breads and toasts and like other.
But cheese is whole.
No, some cheese is spreadable.
Weird. I thought that was like a cheap thing. Like you only got like spreadable cheese if it was like cheese in a can.
Well, I mean, they kind of live like that. You know, they live in a very cheap way. You know, it doesn't look like they're not lavish.
It sounds fancy though.
Yeah,
cheese
definitely.
spreader.
Yeah, they have a specific tool for spreading their cheap cheese. You're right about that. Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe I've never had fancy cheese that's spreadable. I mean, we're obviously not talking like the sprayable cheese.
That's what I'm thinking. Like Walmart. Like
I think that there's
cheese.
actual cheese that you can spread onto like a platter.
So it's like butter, but it's cheese.
Exactly, but it's like a more like almost like yeah. Anyway, we're just going on this cheese tangent.
So he blames himself. He chases after the guy that got away, which you think that guy's gonna get away and that's gonna be the movie, is him chasing down that guy, because that was the opening scene, or not the opening scene, but when he's killing the people around the world, that's the guy that he leaves early to go back to the anniversary with Vanessa, and then he comes back, kills her. So then it's like, okay, this movie is gonna be about him hunting down that guy. But then the guy instantly crashes into another car. Deadpool kicks him out of the car, grabs him. He's holding him up. Looks like he's about to just straight up kill him. Then he hugs him. Yeah. And then it's like, wait, what? Then he steps in front of a bus, and they both get hit by the bus.
Yeah.
Which
I love that.
That
scene.
was really cool because that was unexpected, and it still makes total sense because he's obviously going to survive, but the bad guy isn't.
Yeah.
So that part was kind of cool because it wasn't just him just like stabbing the guy and then being like, oh, I feel better. It was like a very like funny way of killing him, where it's just like,
I mean, I honestly
step in front of a bus.
I honestly kind of figure if I'm dead, put yourself in Deadpool's shoes. How many people has he murdered by just stabbing them in the chest or shooting them? I imagine at some point you'd like if you hate this man vehemently, with he has torn sundered your value, your love of your life, this man doesn't deserve a bullet to the chest or just a stab, so that's why it's way more like, plus he needed a hug,
and it's just good writing because like the whole first movie was just shooting and knives, and so this was like a funny little thing.
I honestly, when she died, I was actually very surprised.
Me too.
And likely so, because they said in the credits, oh my God, did they really just kill her? That was one of the lines.
Right.
And that was really funny.
That was cool.
I think that was like something along the lines of from the people who brought you. Oh my God, did they really just kill her?
Mm-hmm. So he kills the guy. Then we cut to him blowing himself up.
Yeah.
So now we're back on the right timeline.
And we're in that lighthearted mood where he's like,
he's laying on him.
There we go.
He blows him up. He goes and sees. He has a vision of Vanessa in the afterlife, and that part was kind of weird.
Yeah,
like that
very
didn't
trippy.
Really feel any.
Like he went through the water, and then all of a sudden he sees a light, and all of a sudden he's stepping through the door, and then
she's like sitting there, but there's a wall that he can't cross.
Yeah,
and he
but he was like not ugly looking.
Yeah, he looks like Ryan Reynolds. Like he doesn't look like Deadpool.
I should have because not
like
ugly looking. That's
yeah.
a subjective opinion.
Well, because in the afterlife he would still look like his like mortal self before he got the whole cancer thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird. But she says he's not ready to cross over. He doesn't want to because he just wants to be with her.
Oh, of course. And then
Take On Me is playing in the background. That part was kind of funny. Because that's the whole part of the music video is like reaching through the barriers and stuff.
Yeah.
The drawing and the
which
mortal.
okay, now if we think about this, right? How long does the time must pass very, very quickly in this situation because
in the afterlife scene?
Yeah, because he zaps back, right, to his body because he regenerates, from blowing himself up. But the other scenes in which he dies, he regenerates smaller parts of him that have been, spoiler, he dies again at some point in the film.
I don't understand the question.
So, why is time so funky in this
Well,
setting?
it's in his mind. Like, he's in this afterlife thing. And
also, it's like the part of his brain, it's already regenerated to the point that he can see this, so... Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well, and so Colossus comes in and collects all the pieces.
Oh, yeah.
And he's dragging him to X Mansion.
That's right. Oh, because he's still sentient when he's in parts.
Yeah,
That's right.
He can't die.
I forgot. Well, I knew he couldn't die. I just thought he would have to piece him.
Pieces.
He would have to regenerate everything back before he could wake up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
But I guess it doesn't work that way.
He's like C-3PO, where he lost the legs.
But, because I remember. Yeah.
So Colossus.
God, we're spoiling so many movies.
Colossus takes him to X Mansion. Wade is only left with the skee ball token left of Vanessa.
Which, honestly, that was... I don't know, it was weird, his fascination with this. I figured...
Well, I mean, it was his anniversary.
I get
Was it her anniversary? It was her anniversary gift to him of their first date.
No, it was the other way around. He gave her the gift.
Oh, yeah, she gave him... What was it? I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was either.
It was a little thing. It was a metal thing. I don't remember what it was.
I think he just threw it away. It was something kind of just troll, I think. I can't remember what it was either.
Oh, it was her, I think it was her birth control, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where they start talking about them. That's where they start talking about the family.
Because it was why does he need that?
Now we got it.
Then, skee ball token, he's carrying that around as he goes to the mansion.
Yeah, so Colossus is taking him to...
He's got the bathroom.
The mansion. He's regenerating, and he basically agrees to join the X-Men as a form of healing. Colossus is kind of convincing him to
but he's
finally get together. Yeah, because for the whole first movie is Deadpool doesn't want to be part of the X-Men no matter what. He joins in, convinces him, which they make up for it later, but I didn't really like because that is the whole thing, is that he's so against teaming up.
Yeah.
Where he's I'm just me. I get it because she just died and he lost all his, he blew up his own place and everything. I get it why he did, but it was a little that's not really what he would do kind of thing.
I think that the idea is that he was I don't care. All I know is if I kill myself now, I don't get to leave. You know, I'm not done.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say screw it and try to find out how to reach it to the point that I can leave. You know, leave this mortal coil, right? So that's his goal. He's going around and he's trying to find out whatever avenue he has to take.
And I get it. And like I said, they make up for it later, which we'll get to soon. So Colossus is basically there's an unstable mutant. There's a standoff that they need to go to at the Mutant Reduction Center.
Which just sounds absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah.
You know, you can already tell from the name of that place. It's not a place where people go to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Colossus, Deadpool, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead show up to the standoff with...
Is Yukino there?
What was it? Mutant Reduction Center. The kid's freaking out. We don't really know why. But I think he's saying he just wants to get out or something. He just wants away from the orphanage or something.
Yeah, something to that effect, I believe.
Deadpool realizes that the kid was abused after talking to him.
Yeah, and he asks him, did that guy kill or abuse him? Or both of them?
Yeah, both of them. And, there's little one-liners and stuff like that. what's his name? Russell was the kid. The angry orphan. He calls Negasonic Teenage Warhead Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah. There were so
he's
many
like, who,
characters.
you and Justin Bieber over there? And then it made it better that Deadpool brought attention to it.
He said if you don't stop talking, I'm gonna fry Justin Bieber.
Oh yeah.
And then
it made it better that Deadpool brought attention to it, where he's like, he called you Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and it showed that like fact that the reason why he was wearing that vest, the trainee vest, of course, because they didn't want to,
He's not an official X-Men yet.
Yeah, and then when they get to that point where Deadpool finds out that the two old men had abused him, Russell, that is, he goes ahead and just shoots one of them and attempts to kill the other guy.
I don't
remember what his name is.
We do get it. I just don't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Old dude who's a pervert. And basically, Colossus the whole time is like, no, don't kill anyone. We don't just kill people. And then Deadpool's like, I'm doing the right thing, even when you don't have the balls to.
Which is where I was saying how they make up for him joining the team.
Yeah.
Because he joins them, and it's kind of like, oh, that's not him.
Yeah, he wouldn't
Deadpool.
do that.
And then 5 minutes after he joins a team, he just can't help himself and he kills someone just off the bat.
Don't they just take away his training right there? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And that's how they get on their way. They're like, all right, I'm done trying to stick up for you. That's what Colossus says.
And they put
both Russell and Deadpool into the ice box.
And they put the little
collars.
Yeah, the anti-power collar.
Yeah,
thing.
the anti-mutant
collars. It turns off all of their powers.
Yeah,
and stuff, which
is interesting because if you think about it, then Deadpool's being consumed into this mutant realm, right? So his powers are now considered mutant.
They always were.
I mean, why though? Like what is just any deviancy in the human genome considered a mutant trait then?
I'd assume so.
So like, presumably, if the Marvel universe and this mutant universe, is this just the DC?
Well, they called them that from the first universe. He's like, Francis was like, I make mutants.
Oh, that's right. They did.
He's like,
were they planning this the whole time? I think they were.
Oh, jeez.
They did. They had that. That was the X-Men were right in there. Yeah, yes. Of course. Yeah, yeah. They knew. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, we totally missed a part in. It's hard because I don't remember all the jokes.
Yeah.
But when they were in the X mansion, and he's like, when he's riding around on Professor Xavier's little wheelchair, and he says, "This smells like Patrick Stewart, who plays Professor Xavier," and he's looking around. He's like, "Oh, they finally bring attention." I think they did in the first one too, but they bring attention to it where he's like, "Where is everybody? Why is this house so empty?"
And he drives by that one room, and there's just all those knockoffs.
You see the X-Men in there, and he just quietly shuts the door.
Yeah.
Which I think those characters are in a new X-Men show, which I think makes it even funnier.
Okay, that makes more sense because I was like, those don't look like the people that I know from the X-Men film.
What's his name? The blue guy. I don't remember his name. I'm not a big X-Men fan.
The Nightcrawler.
Is that who it was?
I think that's his name. I thought that was his name.
I thought it was Beast.
Oh yeah, you're right. Nightcrawler's the one who people confuse with Beast.
Yeah, I get him confused with.
No, Beast is the blue guy who's just hairy.
That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the one that shuts the door.
Yeah, that's Beast. Whoops.
Yeah.
I didn't see Nightcrawler.
I get him confused with Beast Boy from Teen Titans.
From Teen Titans.
Yeah, because he's the green one, not the blue one.
Yeah.
We forgot about this. There's so many little one-liners.
Well, my favorite part is when in that same scene, just while we're piggybacking back into the past here, Deadpool. We were just criticizing Deadpool for doing.
Yeah.
He was playing with the little fortune, the foretelling device. I can tell what you're gonna say.
I forgot about that.
And he's like, you can't tell what I'm.
He's barely copying what Colossus
is saying. Half a second after.
Yeah, he's waiting until he says it.
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, and then he waits for him, and then he starts. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. And then he just breaks it.
Yeah, right at the end when he's taking it off.
Yeah. Anywho,
and that's right before they go to the child
deviancy
center or whatever
incident,
mutant reduction center,
and then thusly continue on to the icebox where we currently are back, caught presently up, and
so icebox was cool. I mean, I liked it. it was visually kind of interesting. I mean, it just looked like every superhero prison.
Yeah, definitely.
We're just.
I mean, it was weird that they had the like glass boxes.
Yeah, the cells were a little
They
different.
were a little interesting.
I mean, it was just kind of for design, probably, and then you could see all the people. In
yeah.
them.
But for the most part, honestly, at this point, we start being more aware of the fact that now Deadpool realizes he's gonna die pretty quickly because his cancer's killing him.
Which I thought was cool that they brought attention to that too, because I didn't even think about it at first. When they put the collar on, my first thought was he just can't. He's not immortal now. And I had totally forgotten about the cancer.
No, yeah, I was like, holy shit, wait, he can't be in that too long. Yeah, because honestly, he's literally just a big ball of cancer.
I didn't even think about it. And then until he was like coughing up and he looked really gross, I was like, oh that's right, he's got cancer. And it's like, that was the whole reason.
Yeah, that's the whole reason he did it, is because he had cancer. And then the super mutant powers he had were just healing the cancer faster than it could kill him.
Yeah, it couldn't kill the cancer.
So, but it wasn't killing the cancer, it was just preventing him from dying.
But that's what I'm saying. When they put that on, the first thought was he's not immortal anymore. I had totally forgotten about the cancer.
Yeah.
And so until he was like spitting up and like dying on the bed, I was like, he's got cancer. He's gonna die freaking soon. And they brought attention to it too, where he's like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait to die.
Yeah.
Because he knows that his cancer's killing him.
Yeah, and at this point, we see that this kid is like obviously ill prepared for staying in this prison. Like, he is thinking that he's going to be the big man in the prison, and he doesn't realize he's 12. And he cannot fight with anybody.
He's going to pick on the biggest guy around, or something like that.
Second biggest guy is what Deadpool whispers, or like says.
Oh, yeah, because you see that.
It's like you pick on the second biggest guy, not the first biggest guy.
Well, and it shows that there's a big somebody in this one big cell.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is. Not to get too far ahead, I didn't know who it was at all.
I didn't either. And I think that was the purpose.
I mean, from what I've heard, some people did. Like, it's probably that.
Well,
but so yeah, they're in the prison. What's his name? Russell is picking fights. They both get beat up.
Well, but then Russell doesn't get beat up like at all. Like he gets a punch and then he's down on the ground. But then they're kicking the shit out of Deadpool. And so he's sitting there with his cancer, vomiting up blood.
That was one of the.
And he's like, just let me die.
That was a funny scene too, because he's just like, or Russell's like, that was so cool. Yeah. Like, you were like this, and I was like that, and then Deadpool's like, oh, I'm just dying over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That part was funny, and it just shows like the immaturity of him as a teenager, of Russell.
Yeah.
Of just being like, he's totally out of his element. He's not used to these powers. He doesn't know what he's doing. And this one guy that like helped him back at the center before they went to the icebox. Yeah. He's trying to be friends with Deadpool, but obviously
Deadpool's like the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not friends with you. I'm not friends with you. I'm not friends with you. Which was interesting a little bit, how he was so aggressively against the idea.
Oh, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, think of this. Everything's been taken from this guy.
Well, yeah.
He joined the fucking X-Men just to be kicked out. And now he's sitting here with cancer. He's like, well, I got what I wanted. I'm going to die here.
He's an aggressive, like, little kid.
Yeah.
I get it. But it was a little, like...
I don't think it was so much the kid. I think anyone. Put anyone in that place.
You know what it is why I feel that is because a lot of this movie is not Deadpool, it's a lot of Wade Wilson. And that's probably why I feel that, because he wasn't Deadpool in that moment. He was Wade Wilson.
Exactly.
And so you're seeing the human Wade Wilson, who we see interact so nicely with Vanessa earlier, being so aggressive to this kid, where if he was in that Deadpool costume, I probably wouldn't feel that. Yeah. Where if I was like, that's so Deadpool, that he would like just not want to be with this kid. But the fact that it's Wade Wilson dying of cancer and beaten up is why I'm kind of like, why wouldn't he be nice to this kid? Yeah. That's probably what it is.
Because you're not seeing the superhero anymore. Yeah, you're seeing just the man behind the mask.
Which was a little weird from the movie to be like, the first movie was solid Deadpool.
Solid Deadpool. All you saw was Deadpool. I mean, occasional spouts of like, you look like an avocado that fucked the topical graph of Utah. Yeah. And,
it was just a little weird.
But I think that they pulled it off. Because overall, like you're saying, not only did we see more Wade Wilson, we also see a ton more of, it's not just Deadpool alone, right? Most of the jokes that were made in that were just Deadpool. Yeah. Like, oh, you're about to be killed by a Zamboni in like 20
Oh,
minutes,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like we saw just so many interactions
Like
of
hardcore
Deadpool.
Deadpool
Yeah.
character.
And that was awesome. But like then now we're seeing Deadpool and he's actually almost taking like not center stage with this much larger cast seemingly of characters. Having these X-Men characters, Russell is a primary character. You know,
Yeah.
you've got, I mean, even the antagonist, which we find out later in this prison, comes about. He's like a time traveler.
Well, yeah, which I mean basically happens right now. He flashes in, and we learn about Cable, who we find out is a time traveler, which was really
That's his name. Okay,
they said it all the time in the movie.
I don't.
He says it himself. He's like, "I'm Cable." It's like one of Deadpool's like biggest like villains.
Okay. Cable from the Oh, I've read so many comics. No.
Which that part was really cool because you immediately assume that he's there for Deadpool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
He's got these crazy weapons tech things.
Yeah,
and-
that just eliminates everything that they
Oh,
have. I mean, this
well-
is an anti-mutant facility, and he
Yeah.
just blasts through the wall like it's nothing.
Yeah, none of them have powers. They all have the
Yeah.
the necklock things on. Which I just realized too that wasn't the first time I forgot that wasn't the first time we see
Yeah.
Cable. You see him pick up the bear, and you don't really know what's going on. It's just a burned down house.
Yeah.
And then you see
somewhere in between them transferring him to the icebox or something like that, or maybe even
I
before
don't remember
then.
what it was. But then he flashes to those guys sitting on the back of the truck, and then he flashes. He's like, "What year is it?" And they're like, "That's
Yeah,
such a
they're
stupid
like
idea."
laughing their ass off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because he's making the rundown of the bathroom
Oh
trip.
yeah,
you know,
he's like 2 wipes.
that's your main course.
Oh yeah, and then he's like
2 Huggies wipes.
the
or
Huggies
something.
wet wipes. That's your like
Main course.
finishing touch or something like that.
And then you take some standard toilet paper and dry yourself off.
Yeah,
And that's your
yeah.
that's your.
Yeah, so that's where we know that he's a time traveler.
And he just comes up, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay.
And then does he blast the one guy? I don't remember what happens to those guys, but
I think they both die.
he
I don't
basically
remember
takes
how.
the truck.
And the 6-pack. I remember he takes the
'cause you see it-
4-pack that's
you
left.
see it later. And so that's where we first see him. So
Yeah.
we know he's a time traveler by now, but then he flashes into the prison.
Backtrack again.
Yeah.
Old El Classic.
He flashes into the prison. He's got these crazy future weapons, guns or whatever.
Yeah.
He's blasting everybody.
And it's just a hell house. in
Yeah,
there.
everyone's
You know,
running
it's not
around.
even like, them running, because these are all mutants.
It was
you
good
know,
effects, too.
They were just brawling each other. Because, now that the guards are not able to contain them, they're just brawling the guards, trying to get a hold of them. And then all of a sudden, we see the main contestant ender,
Yeah.
what's his name again?
Cable.
Cable.
Oh my gosh.
And Cable's running around, zooming around, blasting up people. And he's looking for this one cell, and he finds it
Yeah.
because of his bionic eye.
Yeah.
Which- Hashtag, I can't wait for that.
And Deadpool says that was our cell. Like they just realized that they blasted it. And so you're still thinking he's after Deadpool. What's he after Deadpool
Yeah,
for?
exactly.
And then once he finally catches him, I don't remember what he says, but he's basically like, "Get out of the way" or something like that. He's like, "I'm here for the kid." Something.
Oh yeah, something
like
to that effect.
And then-
We are enlightened that he's not.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Whoa!" Like he's after. Why would he even be after this kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like he's just his orphan.
Because
kid.
I don't even know if we really know what. We do know because he asked what year it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a time traveler.
So, and I mean, at this point, you can expect Russell's nothing now, obviously, but he's a time traveler and he's after the kid, a no name. So you can kind of figure what happens to this kid is that.
Yeah, I mean, something in the future happened that he needs to get this kid.
Yeah.
But it was a very
excellent point.
Flip.
Yeah, because you could have honestly said the same thing about Deadpool. Like Deadpool might have done something to this guy's family. And so
Yeah.
he was after Deadpool. And I did like the elegance of subtly making, because it wasn't like, if you rewatch it and know he's going after Russell, it's very different than okay, everything here makes sense. It's not forced that there's this little bit of thing that would mainly point to him going after Deadpool until you find out, and then he's obviously after Russell.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yeah, I love the part where he jumps off in the fight scene. He jumps off the ground, or jumps off the second floor and onto that bench and breaks his entire back.
Oh yeah,
Right?
you really winced at that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
And that's where you find out that his
collar broke.
collar broke in the fight. And I mean, it was obvious anyways.
Yeah, they're not just gonna have him sit on that bench for the whole.
You see him break like that, and then, Cable obviously thinks he's done, so he goes after the kid. But then Wade comes back, keeps fighting him. I think they talk about like what he's there for, and then it gets to one of the worst jokes for me, which was the dubstep joke, which was like, is dubstep still relevant? I mean, it works because it's like.
Well, I thought that joke was funny, but then
they called it back later.
Yeah, they kept doing it, and it was kind of like.
Well, if he had just said it like a one-liner, I'd be fine with it. It's just kind of funny, like, oh, haha, remember dubstep? Yeah. But then they played the Skrillex song, like while they were fighting, and that was a little much.
And it was like not even. It was not even like. Currently happening. It wasn't like Wade Wilson played the clip. It was like they just played it over the fight scene. So it's like, okay, well, my version's gone.
From what I've heard, a lot of people think there's like a, I guess you can say, theory that the music in the movies now is what would be playing in Deadpool's head while he's fighting, and so he says, is dubstep still relevant? Then they start fighting. Then like in his head, it would be the Skrillex song.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It makes sense. It's cool. I mean, I don't know if it's not canon, but it's cool to think
as far
of.
as
because that would happen too.
Yeah.
If he's like, oh, is dubstep still relevant? And then he starts fighting. By the character, he'd be like, let's say in the comics it'd be written like asterisk, like Skrillex song starts playing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that part was cool. It was a little weird.
It is interesting. Yeah.
It was a little weird of a joke for me. It was just like, if it was a one-liner, then it'd be fine. But they played the song and then they brought it back later.
Like two-liners. But I hated that it took over. The X gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
I love that song.
I mean, that was kind of just like a throw-in from the first one, because that's kind of what got people so hyped for it, was that initial trailer with that song. Everyone's like, whoa, this might be really good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like, let's throw it in there real quick.
Yeah.
Because it was only in there for like 10 seconds.
It was still really cool. Until he finds out he forgot his bag in the.
Yeah.
Which. No, we can't go forward. we continue on. Remind me to talk about the taxi driver though. So yeah, then they both get blasted by like a mishap between the gun, right? Is what happens. They're both fighting, and then Russell comes by and sees him say, I hate that kid.
Yeah.
And then there's like a mistake where, or no, he's trying to set the gun to 9. What happens if I set this gun to 9? And then he shoots it, and they both go blasting out of the prison and into ice cold water as Deadpool enters.
Yep.
And that's when we enter the realm again, where it's a very seamless transition where he goes into the water actually, and then, well, I mean, I guess he rolled on the thing, but then he goes into the water, and then that's what happens is that when he dies, he does the same thing. He goes into the water. Thing. Yeah, and then he goes into that room, and then he talks to Vanessa again. She's like, look, dude, you can't keep doing it. Go after the kid. Or no, he figures that out himself. And then he comes back out, and he's like, oh, God, what have I done? I can't remember, though, how they explain how they get him away before Cable's able to get to him.
How what?
Like, so Cable's on the ground. He's fine. How does Cable not reach him before, like, what do they do? I know that they move everyone in the icebox to another place.
Yeah, so they start loading Russell into, like, or the guards come get Russell.
It's still like they're still running the prison, right? Because he has that scene with the biggest prisoner, right? Remember, he's in the
yeah, he gives them the food and stuff.
Yeah. So that they're still kind of functioning it, but they are talking about moving them all.
Yeah, because they need to relocate and stuff.
At this point, what is happening to Cable? I cannot remember.
Yeah, I don't remember where Cable.
I think Cable is maybe it's just assumed that he kind of hit his head a little too hard, and so maybe he had to like go and recover.
Because how did Deadpool get out too?
He just climbed out of the water, and then I assume he walked. Where did he walk?
What water?
He fell into the ice water.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Okay, I'm all caught up. Yeah, they rolled down the whole mountain and everything, and then he falls into the ice. Okay, I'm caught up.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't see where Cable goes.
We don't see, like, what happens, where does Deadpool go? He's like, I'm going after that kid, but like...
Well, he goes back to TJ Miller in the bar. and they talk about starting the X-Force.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
he's like, I need a team.
Oh yeah.
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 He's like, I need to go get the kid.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm remembering.
Yeah, he's like, I need to get the kid. Let's start a team. They start looking for people to get. Taxi driver wants to be part of it.
Yeah.
They keep saying no. That's another running bit. Taxi driver wants to be part of the team. Deadpool won't let him.
Oh yeah, and T.J. Miller's having him do a bunch of like random errors, like
like
you
around
know,
the shop. He's like mopping the floors will like help or something like that. Whatever.
Yeah, he's like that'll give you more courage or something.
I can't remember T.J. Miller's character name. It's like Squirrel or something. It's a little weird. Like it's a weird.
Yeah, it is weird, and he plays it really well, I think.
So Deadpool and T.J. Miller are interviewing candidates for the X-Force, which we don't know it's called the X-Force yet, but for a team.
Yeah.
And we're getting all kinds of people. I think Terry Crews was first.
Was Terry Crews a bear?
What?
Was he the bear? The sugar bear? Or sugared?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The guy with the mustache. The
no.
standard dude.
That's no, that was I don't remember his name.
Damn it. Okay, anyway, moving on. So, who do we have first? Who's the first runner-up? What do they call him? What's their code name?
Oh, T.J. Miller's character name is Weasel.
Yeah, Squirrel Weasel.
Yeah. I think Terry Crews, I think, was first, but his power is he can change like the electronic frequencies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like enough to like affect your brain.
Oh yeah.
Which is like crazy broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they give him headaches and anxiety, and like you can see Deadpool and like T.J. Miller like looking around.
Yeah.
That's crazy broken of a character.
Yeah. Then we see, is it Lucky next? Lady Luck?
Domino.
Domino.
She was last though.
Oh,
we get the we get the anime guy or whatever. He was dressed in all white and he was kind of the douchebag guy. I don't remember what his power was though. I should have known.
Spitting. He had spitting.
No. Not, that was the Joker guy.
Oh,
he had the acid spit.
Yeah, he had acid.
But there was the guy dressed in all white.
Yeah. Damn it! What is his power?
Yeah, I don't remember what his power was. But he was like the douchebag one. And they even joke about it later. He's kind of like, he just looks like that.
Yeah.
So we had Terry Crews, the acid spit guy, the guy dressed in white,
douchebag,
the Invisible Man.
Yeah,
which was funny.
Is he here right now?
Yeah, they don't know if he's here yet. He's like, oh, he could be running away.
Yeah.
And then we get, I think was
the Sugar Bear.
I need to look him up though.
Yeah, it was something like Steve. He was a very typical looking man.
Peter. So then we get Peter come in, who's just a normal dude.
And he's referred to as like Sugar Bear or something like that because he's a totally normal dude, but he says it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, hell yeah, you're on, you know? And at that point, we're really seeing Deadpool really just doesn't care about, like, he just wants people to be on this, you know? Like,
he's just having some fun.
Yeah, he's not like, trying to create a team, oh no, you're going to weigh us down, Yeah. No, he's like...
Which is so funny, too, because it's like, you have the X-Men, which is that team. It's the superior team of the super mutants that just get jobs done. Yeah. And then Deadpool's team is just this ragtag group of like
random people that have been assembled for like, one mission.
Literally so random that it's actually just a normal guy on the team. That part was funny. And then you see Dopinder, the taxi driver, come in when Deadpool says yes to the normal guy. Yeah. He's like, wait, so you don't have any powers? He's like, no, you're on. And then Dopinder, like, he drops throws. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, he's so done. And then I think Domino was last.
Yeah, I think Domino was last because they were making fun of her power. It's like, what? That's not power.
Yeah, luck, you can't just have that, which is so funny because
we'll see. And then they're like, all right, you're on.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it leads to the best part of the movie. Yeah. Really, is her power and how well it works with the story and with Deadpool's character because it's like. I mean, it's the same thing, like luck. That's not a power, but then everything just works.
Yeah. So we'll get into that, but
no, I'm just saying, it's like it was a good character.
Yeah, I want to talk about it because it's a lot of fun. But when we go into the, so then they're on the plane. They're like, all right, boys and girls, I just want to let you guys know I'm so happy that you guys are here. Something like that.
Yeah, it was a funny
some soppy speech, and then they're going out to drop. And Sugar Bear or Peter says something like, I don't know if I can jump, I've never done this before, or something like that, being kind of nervous. And then he basically shits on him. He's like, don't be a pussy, And And then he like brings him aside. And he's like, "Don't worry, I love you." You know,
That
like,
part was
I'll
so
never
funny.
make sure you're.
He's like, don't worry. Like, I'm just saying it to kind of hype them up. I care about you. I would never let anything happen to you.
yeah. And
is
then
so funny.
they fall.
Well, and they actually foreshadow all of that because they say like 3 or 4 times in the movie leading up that there's high winds. There's high winds at high winds. And then right before
And then Deadpool is just
Yeah.
casting off. He's like, "Who cares about high winds?" You
and
know,
right before they jump, they're like,
Yeah.
they say there's high winds out, and then he's like,
Oh,
we're
yes.
going, and they jump out.
I think T.J. Miller. He's like, "Oh, there's a wind advisory out right now."
Yeah, and it's supposed to just be like a funny joke.
Yeah.
But then they say it again right before they jump. You don't really think about it. Deadpool lands. He gets hooked on the little billboard,
Yeah.
and then you look up and see the most amazing bit of the whole movie and the most anticipated bit, I guess you could say. I didn't expect this at all, of the team spiraling and spinning
Yeah.
in the air, not like superheroes at all.
Yeah, they're just totally like out of their, minds, just lost.
Yeah, you see like Terry Crews just spinning like up and down. He's just in one spot.
I
just
totally
spinning.
forgot Terry
Yeah.
Crews was in this, but holy smokes!
They're all falling. They're all leading to different ones, and then you slowly see them.
You see
getting picked off.
the invisible guy. He goes on some power lines
Yeah.
and just gets
Did you
zapped.
see who that was? The cameo.
All I thought to myself, and hope this isn't weird, but God, that's an attractive man. I didn't know who at all that
It was
was.
Tom Cruise.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, it was.
Oh God,
It was
I didn't-
actually Tom Cruise.
What?
Yeah,
What
for a
the hell?
split second, you can see Tom Cruise.
I don't know. No, I don't believe
Which that part was really funny too, because with the original joke of the Invisible Man, you're just like, oh, it's just an invisible man. Like,
Yeah.
haha, there's actually no one there. And then you see an empty parachute in the plane.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's like, at least I thought,
There's
just a parachute sitting there. And then you see it jumping out of the plane.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's actually a person there.
Yeah, no, like I could see, like you could kind of tell, like that it was actually strapped on. It looked like it was strapped onto something. So if it was a joke,
For a split second.
it'd be hilarious.
For a split second, it looked like it was just sitting there.
Honestly, that would have been a
Yeah.
hilarious joke if that guy actually didn't exist. That they just
Oh, yeah.
kind of like propped this up so it looked like someone was in there and they just threw him out,
Yeah.
and then it's like,
That-
the
that part
invisible
was-
man.
That part was so good though, because then it's like you see it jump out, and you're like, "Oh, there's actually a dude in a parachute." And then he gets zapped on the power lines. It's
And then what happens to the rest of them? So Terry Crews, I don't remember what Terry Crews or the other guy, the douchebag.
acid spit guy.
He goes
into the wood chipper.
Yeah, he goes to the wood chipper, and Peter
tries
to help him out, and he's trying to help him out. And as the last moment of Acid Spit's life,
Yeah.
he spits on Peter,
On Peter.
and Peter's just dying. And he's like, "Oh God, Sugar Bear!" Like Deadpool runs up to him, and he says, "Oh God, Peter, I never meant for this to happen to you. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And at that point, I believe that all of the members, so Terry Crews, Invisible Man, Terry Crews, Tom Cruise, Douchebag, and the Acid Spitter and Peter are all dead. So those 5 are gone.
I don't remember how the other 2 die.
I don't remember how
I
the other
really
2
don't.
die.
And it's annoying.
Either. All I remembered was Tom Cruise, and then I think Terry might have like flown into something, I think it was like a truck. Oh, it was a bus.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a bus. Terry Crews
a
ran.
bus hit him, didn't it?
Yeah, he was like flying down, and the bus just smacks Terry Crews.
Yeah. I don't remember how the anime guy dies though.
I don't know. It's not worth trying to remember. But then, at this point, we're like, well, shit, everyone's
So
dead.
We've only got Domino, Deadpool.
That's it. Domino and Deadpool are the only 2 who survived with X-Force.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was just right.
I mean,
So-
and at that point, honestly, I was sitting there like, okay, so they're all dead. But then you see Domino's the only one who isn't like affected by the wind somehow. And then
because she's got luck.
yeah, and she's chasing. Not only is she like unaffected, but she's chasing after like the original plan of the mission to chase after this bus, this bus convoy.
The convoy holding Russell.
Yeah, and then so Deadpool's on the line. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing? No, let's just regroup." And she's like, "No, I think I can do it." So Deadpool has to find a way to this. And she just masterfully glides through this place.
She lands right in the truck, doesn't she?
No, she lands just before it. I remember this because there was this little like build-up where there was a bunch of car crashes and stuff. A bus goes over.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
and she's like
lucky.
running off of this shit, and somehow she catches up to this bus, this truck, showing us our first glimpse of truly how lucky she is. You know, because like at first, you're just like, wow, that's pretty lucky that she didn't just die. Like, okay, I get it. The joke is that she lived. And at this point, we could even say like, that was literally just luck, you know? But then we start seeing she lands on the ground, and she's able to catch up somehow with this miraculous event. I think a bus even comes through, like a building or something, like something just crazy.
Well, once she has control of the truck, she, like, drives it into the building so she can go back and find Cable.
That's right. Because the brakes are broken.
Yeah, she's like, Lady Luck, take the wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she, like, lets it drive itself.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
That was awesome.
It's lucky.
Yeah.
And she goes back and fights Cable, because Cable is now...
destroying Deadpool. No, Deadpool wasn't caught up yet.
He's still on the scooter. So she's trying to keep Cable... He's on the convoy now. Yeah. He's on the convoy now. He's trying to get Russell. Domino goes back and tries to stop him.
Yep.
Which was a very cool scene.
It was a really cool fight scene.
It got a little long for me, though, because they were in such a small space.
Oh, definitely. The small confinement really was strange.
It was hard cinematically.
I was just begging it to, like, come on, just go above. You know, go on the top of the train. I want to see that, you know?
I mean, they made it cool by, like, having the last, like, the end part of the car get kind of chopped off. So they had at least the city behind them.
Uh-huh.
So it was a little more open.
Yeah. But it was very dynamic of a scene, because at some point Deadpool joins the fray and she takes the wheel back.
Deadpool's on the other car and he stabs the sword to the guy's foot, like, of the car, and he's looking upside down while he's driving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the sword on the guy's foot on the gas pedal,
and then he's like steering
with one hand,
and he's looking through his thighs.
Yeah.
He's looking for a second there. I did it myself.
He's looking upside down and, like, trying to steer. And he's trying to catch up, which that part was kind of cool. It got me kind of motion sick, though, because it was, like, steering back and forth and upside down.
Dude, yeah, and I was like trying to imagine this, because we did get a brief glimpse of it, and I was like, that would make me ill as hell. But
and he was
provided
like,
I was
really difficult.
You know, I have sinus stuff right now, so that was like, you know, actually like, oh, that would be painful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, that was hilarious though. That's right, I forgot about that. So then she slows down the bus convoy by running into the...
Basically, it, like, her and Cable keep fighting, then her and Deadpool Cable and Deadpool start fighting, which is still cool. Lots of battles.
Of course.
The best line in the movie, which was my favorite, I've said this before, I've already said it's the best line in the movie a couple times now, but when Deadpool calls Cable One-Eyed Willie, because it was Josh Brolin was the actor for Cable, and Josh Brolin was the actor in The Goonies. Where One-Eyed Willie is... like
that went right over my head. I had no idea.
I didn't even hear it.
Have you seen
The Goonies?
No.
Oh. So yeah, it's one of my favorite movies ever.
I see.
And so it's like Josh Brolin's like famous for being in The Goonies, and so I'm so glad that they dropped a little One-Eyed Willie reference. And so Russell breaks out of his cell with the little pen thing,
and then
he lets
Colossus.
Out Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what his name was.
Yeah,
which we didn't even go over that he made friends with Juggernaut.
Well, we didn't really know it yet.
No, we did, because he gave him the food, Juggernaut.
I mean, but we didn't know who it was, and we didn't really know if he made
friends. Then he pops out.
It's only now is where you...
And then he kind of destroys the fight, right?
He, like, punches the bottom of the truck or something, and the whole
everything
highway thing, like, just dissolves.
Collapses, yeah. And then we see the wreckage.
Yeah, which they all crash. Domino, with her luck, lands right into a panda inflatable and just walks out unscathed.
Yeah.
Which is super cool, too. Then you see...
Deadpool tries to make amends with Russell after the crash.
Yeah, so you don't see Cable at first. You don't know where he is. And then Deadpool tries to talk to Russell right as Juggernaut comes out. And Deadpool and Juggernaut are, like, really big enemies. And so Juggernaut comes out, and he's like, I'm going to rip you in half. Yeah. Like, I'm going to tear you apart, or whatever. And Deadpool's like, no, you're not, or whatever. Yeah. And he literally comes over and just rips him in half, like, 2 pieces.
I remember that one, yeah.
Yeah. And just slaps him on down. Deadpool just tries talking to Russell. He's like, why are you doing this, or whatever? I don't really know. He's
like trying to say, like, Russell, you know, you don't have to do this.
Yeah, from that point, it's like Russell's too far gone to, like...
Well, Russell's like, screw you. Yeah, I'm a big man now.
Yeah, because he's got the biggest guy now.
Yeah.
And so that was his whole thing of, like, the foreshadowing earlier.
I'm going to get revenge is what he said specifically.
Because he's turned on Deadpool because Deadpool turned on him.
Yeah.
Now Russell's got the biggest dude.
Yeah.
And his original plan was to get revenge.
Yeah, the whole time we see Russell talking about his revenge. He wants to kill these guys, and, you know, we just don't see Deadpool making an effort to fight this because he for the most part, most of the interaction he had with him was when he had cancer and was dying, and he's like, look, I don't care. You do whatever the hell you feel like, you know. And now he's trying to say you don't have to get revenge, and then Russell's like, but I have the power now, and I'm 12, so that's all I know. And so then that's where we see no. So basically they go back, and that's where we get the scene where the baby feet.
Yeah, they go back to the blind woman's house.
Which the part where he lifts up. He's totally silent. I don't know what part this was.
This is way in the beginning. I know what you're talking about.
He lifts up the carpet and he checks underneath the floorboard. He pulls up a floorboard and he's getting something from under there, and in there is cure for blindness and a bunch of bags of cocaine.
It's all cocaine.
You know, and so it's a reference to when he says, by the way, there's 100 kilos of cocaine and the cure to blindness in this house. Yeah. Good luck finding it. And then
I think it was the end of the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go back to the blind woman's house. We see him sitting on the couch. Domino and T.J. Miller. And I don't think Dopender was there.
He was there, yeah.
Oh, okay. So those two are there talking to him, what are we going to do next?
And he's only wearing a shirt.
Yeah, and so they're trying to, be okay, he's still got to go get Russell. Cable's on the loose, and he's still trying to kill him.
Yep. So some witty banter goes on. It's a couple one-liners, some hilarious.
Because they're talking about the baby legs thing. Because I think T.J. Miller walks in later, and he's like, "Oh, geez, what is that?" Which it was funny. I mean, it was.
I thought it was way overdone, though.
I definitely liked it.
I thought it was funny. It was just come on, let's move on.
It's the same bit as the hand from the first one.
I mean, and here's the thing. Yeah, it's the same bit, but not only that. When I walked out because I had to go blow my nose. I'm pretty sure. And when I went to go blow my nose, because I didn't want to be rude, so I went to blow my nose, and then by the time I came back,
they were still doing it.
They were still doing it, and I was like, I felt fed up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I came back, and then I don't know what happened because all I know is that I came back when he was shaking the hands with Cable.
Well, really? You were gone that long?
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
I thought you got back you got back right as Cable walked in.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah. Because I remember everything.
Yeah, they're talking about the baby legs thing with T.J. Miller and everything, and which was funny, but it was the same bit as the hand from the first one. But, I mean, it was just with more budget. They could actually show Ryan Reynolds, stooped on these little baby legs and everything. I mean, it was funny. It was just, immature humor of just, you're not wearing any
pants. Of course, which is the
thing.
Classic Deadpool mark.
Which, I mean, it was still really funny. I'm not trying to put the joke down or anything like that. It was... It's just hard to explain.
Yeah,
it's hard to get that humor across without.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was definitely funny.
Yeah,
but again, it felt very.
It was really long.
And not only that, now that I think about it, it was so similar to the hand. I was just like, can we just skip this part?
And then Cable comes in. It's the same joke.
Yeah,
where he's like, oh geez. They talk about it, and Cable to us is still this crazy villain of he's just trying to kill Russell for reasons we don't know. Here, they actually talk to each other. He's like, I'm here for your help. And we're like, whoa, what? And then we learned that in the future, Russell ends up going nuts because he kills the orphanage guy.
Well, not necessarily just because of that. He just becomes an evil dude.
Well, no, they say once he kills the orphanage guy, he gets the taste for blood. And then he starts killing everybody.
Okay, I guess that was more of an inference, I figured.
Yeah, and then Cable straight up says that. He's like, he gets the taste for blood.
How does he know he has a taste for blood?
Because he ends up killing Cable's family.
Yeah, just I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, sure.
He ends up killing Cable's family. Cable goes back in time to kill Russell before he gets the taste for blood. It was cool. I mean, it's a natural timeline or time travel storyline.
Very typical. It wasn't hard to force.
Yeah,
it didn't feel forced though. It also felt very familiar yet very refreshing.
It was cool.
Well, not refreshing necessarily, but it didn't feel overdone, Because this is a very typical thing.
Yeah.
Oh, someone kills my family. I go back in time. I kill them. I stop that from happening.
And they even talk about it, I think, don't they? With the...
Yeah, they probably make fun of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's
and so Deadpool says, now he's so adamant on saving this kid now, which is a little weird.
It was very strange.
That he's so into it now. You're supposed to just...
kind of figure it was because of his wife. Or
Deadpool's supposed to
were
get
they
some...
married?
No.
Okay.
Deadpool's supposed to have some connection now because he knows that Cable's trying to kill the kid, and I guess for whatever reason, Deadpool doesn't want to see his kid killed. I think they even talk about it, but I don't remember what they said. Cable agrees that Deadpool has 30 seconds to try to change Russell's mind before he kills the guy. Or before Cable kills Russell.
No. It's that... Yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool...
You got that perfectly right.
Deadpool doesn't want Russell killed. Cable wants to kill Russell. They
So
agree
he
for 30
agrees.
seconds to change his mind.
As long as Russell does not murder the man.
Yeah.
So let's kind of go through just very bullet pointy stuff, because there's a lot of one-liners in the next little bit. So basically we just see them suiting up, getting ready, and they go, and there's a lot of dialogue between them basically discussing...
Oh, yeah, so they're all meeting up at the original orphanage.
The Mutant Reduction Institute.
Mutant Reduction Center.
I was thinking, I've been playing too much Fallout.
How do you spell reduction?
Reduction.
So maybe this is just spelled wrong on here, but there's two E's. Reed.
Reduction.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just spelled wrong on here.
Reduction. It's named after Reed.
Yeah, so the team, Domino, Deadpool, Cable, and Dopeender meet up at the center with Russell and Juggernaut.
Yes. So they meet up
And so
there.
they tell him to wait, like, don't go in yet. I think Russell just immediately tries to run in or something like that. Deadpool does a nice fourth wall break where he says, oh, and Colossus was there too.
Yep.
They have to go,
Of course.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that. Deadpool has to go try to get Colossus to join them again at X Mansion. And he's like playing the little boombox outside of Colossus's bedroom. And we see Negasonic again with Wheeler and her
Yukino.
girlfriend Yokino, which was, I've said this again already, the best joke of the movie, but the best long running joke was that for me.
Yeah.
Where she was like, hi Deadpool, he's like, hi Yukino.
Yeah.
It worked every time for me.
Yeah.
And it got funnier and funnier, just like
Seriously. I agree with you 100%.
just how happy he was to say hi to her.
Yes!
Like, it was so well done of just
Exactly.
like... He's like,
I loved
hi.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
And he does the little finger wave and everything. It was so cute. And it was so funny because he's just so happy to, like, talk to
Yeah,
her for
it's
some
like
reason.
it's like the most happy anyone has
Yeah.
been from such a small interaction. Whoopsies.
Yeah. And he's like... when they're together, when Negasonic and her on the balcony, he's like, you guys are the cutest. Like, don't... whatever.
Yeah.
It's so funny. That one was awesome. Yeah, so I totally forgot that they were there. Negasonic.
Yeah,
and
because originally when
Yukino
you
was
find
there.
out, when you find out that Yukino is or whatever her name is, I don't know. I think it's not Yukino, but I said that, and then you said it was
Yukio.
Yukio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Yukino because Yukio. Okay, so Yukio. When you find out Yukio is her girlfriend, she mentions it, and then Deadpool's like, "Wow," and then she's like, "What?" I can't have I can't have a girlfriend. And then he says something like, no, I just figured no one would want to date you with such a long name or something. I don't know. It's some one-liner again.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I thought it was really funny because then he's just immediately just so warm to her, and it's just this
It
funny,
was so funny.
hilarious thing.
So I was saying the nice fourth wall break where we get Deadpool look over and say, here comes a nice big CGI fight or something like that, where we see Colossus start to fight Juggernaut, which was... It was a cool fight.
I found it really boring and tedious.
I think the music made it.
I liked watching Juggernaut fight. I thought he was a pretty funny, cool character.
I've heard some people really didn't like the CGI behind it, but I thought it looked okay.
I never noticed that shit.
Yeah, it's
so.
and they even brought attention to it.
Yeah.
Here's a big CGI fight. They poked fun at it about how it's this isn't going to look real.
Yeah. Which I found fine.
Yeah, it was funny. I liked it. That
But then,
whole fight.
Yeah.
Russell is chasing down the headmaster,
guy, and
or
then
whatever.
Deadpool chases down Russell, so it's the classic Tom, Jerry, and the dog.
Yeah. And Cable is saying remember, only 30 seconds, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Russell's straight up about to kill the guy.
Deadpool's like, don't do it, and then something happens to the church because they're in the church building of the amphitheater, the hall, and he's about to blast him. And I think it might be that he blasts the wall
Yeah.
Russell blasts the wall with his power or something like that, because I know that the wall comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they exit the building.
Yeah, they're outside. Well, that's because the other employees, I guess you could say, of the center come out to fight Cable and Deadpool. Remember, all the guys in white, and Deadpool is like, I can't imagine anything more fun to do with you than killing a bunch of pedophiles or something like that. And then you see Deadpool and Cable kill a bunch of those center workers or whatever. So they kind of meet up with Russell, I guess you could say. Russell's going nuts. They're trying to stop him from killing the headmaster guy.
Yep, of course. And then basically he's just talking to him. I really have no idea what they're saying. I can't remember anymore. It's been too long. All I remember is the general points in this kind of area, because there was so much fighting, so much like kind of flashy stuff that I don't remember the dialogue. But basically we get into this situation where now the guy that Russell's trying to kill is now no longer in the scene, and Deadpool is trying to get Russell, like, egg him on to hit him instead, because he knows he can't kill him.
No, did that happen?
Yeah, I thought that happened.
No,
they're outside now.
I don't remember.
He's like, go ahead.
Well, the next main part is it's not working. Oh yeah, Deadpool does get blasted because his
he
suit's
gets
all
blasted.
black.
Yeah, his suit's all black, and then he puts on the collar.
Yeah, he's like, this is my last shot.
All right,
like,
go ahead. Yeah,
this is my last resort. Just do it. Russell starts getting the feels.
But he's about to blast him.
He starts getting upset or something.
Yeah, it's really close. It's like a tiebreaker where he can't. He's about to blast him anyway.
Cable pulls out the gun, shoots the bullet, but we see Deadpool dive in front of the bullet and take the bullet for Russell.
And he takes. So at this point, he has the collar on, so his cancers is going, and he's shot in the chest, straight in the chest with a bullet. And then this soppy scene goes on where they talk about, like, why did you do that? And then Deadpool's like,
Russell turns and he's like, you did that for me.
Yeah. Like, so basically, in the end result is that Russell turns out not to be a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Everyone's happy except Deadpool dies.
The teddy bear turns like pure again. To show that Russell like doesn't end up killing the headmaster guy.
And then, well, not that he doesn't kill the headmaster guy, but that he doesn't end up killing a lot of people, you know. Or at least his family. You know, we have no idea. Maybe Russell's like, I'll just like become an evil villain somewhere else. But anyway, then he dies and he goes into his heaven world with his wife, and then he dies. It's a really long scene. I thought it was just way over, like,
oh well, yeah, because the whole joke is it's like
I thought it was funny, but like it was just like,
well, they did it like 3 or 4 times.
Like,
yeah, because it was like he died and then he like put his head down and he's like, but before I go, and it's like, okay, which at that point after like the third one I was like, the collar doesn't work. And I was the collar has to not have worked, and he's just kind of egging him on.
I know, yeah. I was kind of like, wow, he's lasting a while, because
like,
he was shot in the chest.
Yeah, like he knows he's regenerating, because he like, I thought it would literally be like he made sure the collar didn't work, but he put it on anyways, and he's like, oh, like, no matter what, I'll survive.
Yeah.
And so I was like, he's just kind of messing with Russell, but then it's like, it's real, like he's actually
and
dying.
Then he dies.
And then he dies.
And then
everyone's upset. He finally dies after like 4 like.
Too long.
You see Cable turn around and go back in time.
Yeah. So he goes back in time to when they're initially coming up on the compound, before they've gone through the music and before they've gone through really any of the stuff.
They hop out of the taxi.
And it's really quick. They just zoom through most of this stuff, and they zoom to that point where he's shooting the bullet at.
Well, no, you missed the actual whole part where Cable slaps Deadpool's chest.
Oh yeah.
Like he taps him, and then Deadpool's just like, what the heck was that for? Whatever, let's go. And they start walking, and then it zips ahead, and then it cuts to where Deadpool jumps in front of the bullet again.
Oh, because Cable had the token.
And you hear the ping.
Yeah.
You hear it
when he shoots him.
Yeah.
You hear it. It hits the token instead of hitting him in the chest, and then it does the same effect where Russell thinks that he died, but he didn't.
It's over. Like, Russell has changed already, but then Deadpool's like, oh, you like saved me or whatever. He pulls out the token, and it was like, what, I can't remember what they said. It was like full lead or whatever.
Yeah.
It would stop a bullet.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is true.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was kind of funny. But then he realizes, like, oh, like Cable you can't go back now. You used the last of your things, which we forgot to mention, that he's only got 2 burns. One to go back in time to kill him.
I didn't even remember hearing about that. When did they discuss that?
When Cable was telling his story to Deadpool in the baby leg scene,
he
was like, I only have enough energy for 2. One to come back and kill him, and one to go back to my family. And so when Cable uses it to go back and save Deadpool, Deadpool's like, you used your last one, how are you going to go home? And he's like, it's whatever, I'll just stick around for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
he's like, basically like, I'll try to make sure that the world doesn't shit itself.
Yeah, which I thought was like kind of weird, because I didn't think that they were going to be, I still don't know if they're going to be trying to bring back Cable for like number 3 and 4, like with Josh Brolin still in it. But then we see in the end credit scene that they fixed the time thing anyways, where Yokio fixes the time thing.
Yeah.
So Yokio and Negasonic are there. They fixed the thing. I don't remember how they said it, but like they fixed it so that it has enough juice to just use. They give it to Deadpool, and that's instantly a big mistake, because Deadpool with time travel is not a good mix. Which I turned to you and said, maybe I turned to Joseph, but I said,
you turned to Joseph. You didn't turn to me during the movie.
Which was I said, so wait, are they trying to set up Deadpool 3 that he's a time traveler, and the whole movie is going to be going him like World War II, or like all these like crazy wars or whatever, and being a time traveler? But we get probably one of the best end credit scenes ever. Of he goes back, saves Vanessa, which I forgot about. I was talking to a guy at work. I was talking to a guy at work today where I was like,
I forgot it too, honestly.
Yeah,
I didn't,
because the other 2 were so good.
Yeah.
So he saves Vanessa. He goes back and kills the X-Men Origins Deadpool version, which is amazing. You know, everybody hates that version. It's like,
and he says like just cleaning up the timelines a little bit.
Yeah, because you get like you get the shot of Hugh Jackman of like looking at that Deadpool, and then he just kind of like shoots him, and he's like just cleaning it up, and then he's like looking straight at Hugh Jackman. He shoots it like 7 more times into the Deadpool.
Yeah.
And then the final one where he goes back, and the actor in the movie, the actor Ryan Reynolds is lifting up the script to Green Lantern, and he's like, it's finally done. And then Deadpool shoots Ryan Reynolds in the back of the head, and he's like, you're welcome, Canada. Which is so funny.
That was literally perfect.
Because, I mean, everybody hates the X-Men Origins, Deadpool, and the Green Lantern movie. And so they clean up those. But yeah, because of those last 2, how funny they were and how great they were written, I totally forgot they saved Vanessa.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to a guy at work today that I'm kind of glad they killed her off, getting into the like more discussion of it, because I think having that character, it really ties Deadpool down to not being Deadpool. You still get the side of Wade, which I don't really think we need that much of. It's like we said in the beginning, that there was so much more Deadpool in the first one than Wade, but in this one there's a lot more Wade.
Yeah.
And just having her around just leads to having to have more Wade, and I think it's just better with as much Deadpool as possible. And so I was saying, like, I'm kind of glad they killed her off, and he's like, but they didn't. I was like, what do you mean they didn't? Yeah, they did. And he's like, no, at the end credit scene, he goes back and saves her. I was like, I totally forgot about that. Like, I don't know how they're gonna like write it for future ones or whatever, but I
mean, here's the way I think about it, okay? And let's view a very similar setup to this in a superhero movie, Spider-Man. So we see Spider-Man. It's a very similar way, where the second movie of Spider-Man, we really see a lot more Parker than we do in the first one. Well, that's not true at all. Never mind. Fucking, ignore that. But I think that the second one was mainly built so that we didn't see the same as the first one. The same as the first one would be Deadpool just running around killing people. And they needed more of a draw, because originally the draw was, Vanessa. It's always Vanessa.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that in the third one, we might be able to see a little bit different. Now, obviously, we're not going to see him doing any X-Men things, right? Because Colossus has already said, I'm done, trying to do this with you, And then we really can tell that they're kind of like, maybe Deadpool isn't the most important person to have on our team, our roster, because he seems too much like a wild card.
Yeah.
So,
which is good though, because it's like I said with the first one is that the whole point of Deadpool is that he doesn't want to be part of a team. And I'm glad that there's like they're kind of hopefully closing that book of trying to get him to become an X-Men. Like I kind of hope that the first one had parts of it, this one had a lot of it where he actually kind of becomes one, and then building the team of the X-Force, where I kind of hope this is the final chapter of that. Like let's have him become part of a team. Like maybe the next one will be like actually just him solo.
Yeah.
Like or I don't know what they could do with it, but
yeah. And I mean, I think that the next movie, whatever we see, we're going to see a lot less Wade. Because, honestly, I just feel like they really... Maybe I'm wrong. I imagine they're not going to have as much Wade Wilson in this next one. But I could be wrong about that. That could be an assumption. Because, honestly, I'm kind of tired of looking at that ugly-ass motherfucker.
I feel like they toned it down in this movie. It felt like in the first movie, it was very, like...
I think they had really to because it was like you saw it way more in this movie because most of the time he was
the makeup effects of it.
Yeah, because he had it like most of the time when we were looking at him in the first movie, he was regular, normal.
Yeah, he just had the mask on.
Yeah, he was just Deadpool or he had a hoodie on because they were the only times that they ever showed it were like when he was actually bringing to notice, hey, yeah. I'm ugly as hell, it can't be that bad, and he pulls back the hood, and he's like, oh my god, so it's like, but this one, like, I wouldn't be able to stand it if it was as bad as the first one, so I definitely agree with you.
It was just something I noticed.
No, yeah, I didn't notice that, though, I didn't really think about it, I just noticed, like, man.
It seemed to look way more like Ryan Reynolds.
Because the first time that we saw Ryan Reynolds in the film, I was like, oh, thank God we get to see Ryan. Yeah, because I don't know, I was so refreshed. I was like, man, thank God Ryan Reynolds has hair in this one. Doesn't look like a complete idiot. And then but
so my main final thought is, I think my main thought of it is that I think this one is a better movie, like overall, if you're looking at it from like a movie standpoint. And that this one has more of a rewatch value. Like, I think, I've only seen this one once and the other one twice. I feel like I would rather watch this one twice.
Interesting.
Or, like, again. Like, a rewatch. Because it's got more people. Josh Brolin killed it as Cable. I've loved Josh Brolin, and I think he just did really well with the character Cable. There's just a little more to it, but I think it's a worse Deadpool movie where like I didn't think it was as funny as the first one. I thought the first one was way more funny. It was very bare bones. It was like they knew what they had to get done and they had to do it. Yeah. It was way more funny to me of like the writing style, which was kind of interesting because Ryan Reynolds had way more of a writing. He was way more into the writing process of this movie than the first one. He actually got some more like ability to write on this one. Yeah, I didn't think this one was as funny as the first one, but I think it's a better movie. If that makes sense.
Now, like I said, I've talked to you about like what I don't like about the movie. Like we see so much of Wade Wilson. I agree with you. That definitely makes a lot of sense. But somehow I'm inclined to believe you or to agree with you. Now, right now, I want to watch Deadpool 1 because I haven't seen that one in a while. But like you said, I mean, comedies that you've seen, all the jokes for, those die really quickly. Like you already know if you can recite every joke that happens in them.
Yeah.
Then it's like it's not as fun, whereas like we were just talking about it, and half the jokes that happen, the one-liners, we don't remember them of the second one. The both of us remember most of the ones in the first one, like we went over a lot of them, and so I think that is definitely a factor, and I would agree with you that the second one probably has more of a rewatch value, but I didn't like it as much. I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
It was a worse Deadpool movie, but I don't even...
And worse is a weird word because it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's still totally fun.
I mean, if you think about it, like, how can it be a better movie but a worse Deadpool movie? Like,
it's still totally fun. It was awesome going to see it. Like, I loved seeing it. I will definitely see it again.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting.
Now, I remember when describing it to other people, they were like, how was it? Like, don't spoil it, But like they wanted to know my opinion, and typically I don't like to even say that. I don't like to give people my opinion because then it's like if I say it's really good, then people are like going to go into it thinking it's going to be good, right?
That's my whole theory behind this. Yeah, that's why I like this conversation of just talking about it instead of just being like, it's not a review. It's not saying you should go see this. It's like this was my personal thoughts.
Yeah. And to speak about that, when a buddy of mine asked me specifically, well, tell me what you thought of it, you know? So I told him I was amazed by the fact that it was just as good as the first one. That's what I said, quote unquote. And
it
I
definitely
really liked that.
held up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because most sequels...
Really anyone our age is going to like it.
Oh,
like,
definitely, yeah.
I mean, you can't really be anywhere near our age and not like it. I mean, that being said, anyone, like, relatively younger than us, if you're, like... This is definitely an art movie. Like, there's swearing, there's gore. Like, it's really...
Easily.
Yeah. Like, I'm just saying...
Acid Man gets shredded.
Yeah. I just mean the humor aspect of it is very our age oriented. You know, it's not like
you're definitely
some parents aren't going to go and like crack up about it.
Wait, damn it! I forgot where the Stan Lee cameo was in this one.
I didn't see it at all, and I had to look it up later. And from what I saw, I could be totally wrong, that he wasn't in it.
No,
it was they had to cheat it by in X Mansion. There's a ceramic bust of him, and that was the cameo. That's what I read. I don't know if it's...
That is appalling.
Well, he's been sick lately.
Oh.
And so I think the ending of this filming has like... He had like pneumonia, I think it was, for a little bit. And I think the ending of this movie was filmed, or the areas that they were filmed was in that time period where he like couldn't get up and do stuff. And so I think they kind of had to just cheat the system.
Damn.
A little bit.
God, Stan Lee, if he dies, I swear to God,
that being said,
Marvel's over.
I only read one article that said that, so I could be totally wrong.
Because I thought I remembered it.
No, afterwards, I told Joseph too. I was like, I don't remember seeing a Stan Lee cameo, and he was like, I don't either. And then I read that one article, so I could be totally wrong.
Okay,
but I didn't see it, and I read that. So, but yeah, I thought the same thing. Man, because Joseph was like, he wasn't in the first one. I was like, yeah, he was. He was in the strip club.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole movie is that Stan Lee, this old... Like, they're not even trying to be discreet about it at this point. You know, it's like, no one this age would be
and
this guy.
He's like the DJ, too.
Yeah.
He's not just there.
Yeah. He's not like just a bartender. He's like the dude with the women on him, you know? Like, that was hilarious. Anyway, yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, I definitely loved it. I'm going to see it again. Probably not in theater. I'll probably just wait until it comes out.
Yeah.
But... I love it.
Classic millennial attitude that we have here.
I really liked it. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Really funny.
Definitely. I was, just normally when you see a sequel, they're just never as good, you know? And I think that if there's and like we said, there's parts of it we didn't like as much. Mm-hmm. But if you go to it expecting the same movie, that's a big mistake, you know?
It definitely held up.
Yeah, it definitely held up. Like, and I don't think I've ever seen a sequel to any movie that was better. Well, maybe Shrek 2. But that is the only one I will argue. I will entertain the argument for.
I think the best way to say it is it didn't disappoint. Yeah. That's probably a really good way to say it.
That's a good summary for it.
Like, even if you had lower expectations of being like, oh, they've got more money and there's more characters, it's like...
So it's going to be worse.
It still wasn't... It didn't disappoint. Because, I mean, it's the same thing. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't watch anything going into it. All I knew was like Josh Brolin was in it as Cable, which they also dropped the little joke of Thanos, which you kind of knew was coming. But
wait, really? When
they're fighting on the train or on the convoy thing or whatever, Josh Brolin plays Thanos too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because this year he played Thanos and Cable in 2 Marvel movies. Yeah. Yeah. So they made the little joke of that where he's like, I don't remember what the line was, but Deadpool called him Thanos, which is pretty funny. I mean, it was kind of obvious that was coming. Yeah. Because they obviously knew Infinity War would be so massive, but I still thought it was pretty funny. Yeah. And it was obviously coming. But the best line with Deadpool and Cable was the One-Eyed Willy.
I feel like that made it for you, like, you know.
It was so funny. I mean, I saw it coming because it's like he still gets jokes about Goonies. Everyone still talks to him about Goonies, and that was when he was like 20. Like, it was so long ago, but it's still so funny.
Didn't see it, so I had no idea at that point. Right over my head.
It was One-Eyed Willy. One-Eyed Willy was the pirate that they were chasing. Oh. It was One-Eyed Willy's treasure that the kids in Goonies were going to find. That, spoiler alert, they end up finding.
And they end up finding One-Eyed Willy apparently because he plays the movie.
His skeleton. He's like a dead pirate.
So they kill this actor and
No,
make him.
he was never
how-
in it. It was One-Eyed Willie's treasure.
So
He's an old
why was he?
pirate.
Why did he play in? How did he play the
No.
pirate in
Josh
Goonies?
Brolin didn't play One-Eyed Willie. Josh Brolin was just a kid in Goonies.
Oh.
One-Eyed Willie is a pirate who had one eye.
Oh.
And in the movie, he's Brolin's a cyborg.
Yeah.
In this movie,
With one eye, yeah.
And so it was like One-Eyed Willie. So
I
it was like
see.
a jab at Goonies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm with.
It's
because
you haven't seen Goonies, or it doesn't make sense.
I was like, what? He played a skeleton? That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, when he was a kid.
Yeah. Like, you said when he was 20, so.
I don't know how old he was, but yeah.
How did he play a little kid at 20 years old?
He's still like a kid skeleton. It's not a full-grown adult.
A 20-year-old?
That's not a full-grown adult.
It's basically
You're not
almost.
you're not the size you are right now as you will be when you're 40.
I'm basically there. My bones are the same. My bones aren't growing anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
Your bones are definitely still growing.
Your bones are done growing by the time you're like 17 as a man.
Nah.
Yeah.
Guys.
You know
grow to,
why?
like, guys
It's
grow
because
to,
your
like, 20
mental stuff doesn't
guys
stop
grow
growing
to,
until you're
like,
25.
Guys
No.
grow to like 23. Girls grow to like 27.
No. You are so wrong in so
Okay,
many ways.
We gotta end this.
Oh my god, you're just wrong. Okay.
Okay, thanks guys for listening. If you want to let us know what you thought about the movie, this one, Deadpool 2, if you want to let us know about any of the other ones that we're going to cover that we have covered already, you can email at themidnightshowingpod, pod@gmail.com. Our Facebook page is The Midnight Showing. Instagram is also The Midnight Showing. And our Twitter is backwards. It's at Showing Midnight. And so you guys can hit us up on any of those platforms. We also post when any new episode goes live, and we'll also start just throwing out little tweets and posts on any of them. So just let us know what you thought about these ones, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.